Hello, welcome to my Elements of an Epic presentation. My name is Wyatt Harrison, and today we will be going over the elements of an epic, examples of them from Homer's Odyssey, and examples of them from my personal epic. The first thing we're going to talk about is the epic hero. The epic hero is usually the main protagonist in an epic. He or she is generally intelligent, strong, and a good leader. They usually have someone attempt to kill them at a young age, particularly birth, and end up fighting a huge battle. The story on the way to the battle, they have a journey that ends up changing their character. They win the battle and usually end up a king or someone famous. The epic hero in Homer's Odyssey is Odysseus. He is the king of Ithaca and a strong and intelligent military general. He fought in the Trojan War, and on the way home, he had a journey that changed him as a person. Once home, he fought a huge battle against a bunch of people who were trying to steal his wife. He won and became king once more. The epic hero in my epic from earlier in the module is a less traditional take on an epic hero. Cameron, the epic hero, isn't very strong, and he isn't very good with people who aren't his friends. So when he is forced to go on a long journey with a guy he doesn't know that well, it forces him to change himself. At the end of the story, he has undergone an almost fully changed and is somewhat of a new person, with his main character traits from the beginning of the story being amplified. At the end of the story, he fights a huge battle and loses, but him fighting caused enough of a distraction for his friends to come and save him and the world. They can't tell anyone about the battle, but if they could, then they would say Cameron won and he would be famous. The journey. The journey are the travels that the epic hero takes to change his or her character. Most of the time, there are lots of small conflicts on the way, but those conflicts usually for the story towards the main battle. Homer's Odyssey is a good example of this. As the journey goes on from coming home from the Trojan War, Odysseus progresses as a character and forms a bond with his group. All the smaller conflicts like the Cyclopes and the Sirens that the Odysseus defeats take up time and give the main villains more time to try and steal Odysseus' wife. In my epic, from earlier in the module, two of the main characters go on a journey that change both of their characteristic traits. Blah, 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 blah. Zane realizes that popularity and social status are just burdens, and they have nothing to do with what people are actually like. Cameron learns that sometimes you have to be open to others for help and suggestion. The smaller conflicts that they have are all orchestrated by the main villain, and they have to try and piece together clues to figure out the mystery that we all want solved. Why? The conflict/supernatural forces. The conflict is the climax of the story. It is the part where the main villain is revealed and the big battle takes place. All the smaller conflicts of the story usually lead up to this one battle. The people who are in these conflicts are sometimes supernatural. In Homer's Odyssey, the big battle is Odysseus versus the suitors. All the smaller conflicts in the story give the suitors more time to steal Odysseus' wife. In the end, Odysseus battles them all and wins with the help of his son. Almost all of the smaller conflicts like the Cyclopes and the Sirens were supernatural. In my epic, the main conflict is Zane, Cameron, and Ziggs is his name, if you don't know how to pronounce that, versus the main villain. All the mini conflicts are orchestrated by this main villain, and at the end of the battle, the good guys win and the world is saved. Almost all the conflicts include some sort of supernatural force along the way. The evil. The evil is the main villain of the story. He/she/sometimes they are the ones who face off and lose against the epic hero. They are generally more cunning and evil than anyone we would really know in real life. In Homer's Odyssey, the evil is a suitor. The evil are the suitors, who are trying to steal away Penelope, Odysseus' wife. In the main battle, they try to defeat Odysseus, but end up losing anyway. This particular group of people weren't that cunning, but there were 50 of them, which made them pretty strong and pretty evil combined. However, some of the smaller villains in the Odyssey, like the Sirens, were pretty cunning. The evil in my epic is the Black Tourmaline Spirit. The Tourmaline Spirit has been corrupted by its first host and is now trying to suck up all of the gem energies to become the most powerful being in the universe, as usual. He is strong, cunning, and very evil. He ends up winning against Cameron, but is defeated by Ziggs and Zane. Ugh, that's painful to say. Once he's defeated, he returns to his regular Tourmaline Spirit form. Poetic format. The poetic format of an epic is a small part, but can be very significant. It is the beat of an epic, and the correct poetic format of an epic can make the story flow smoothly and can grab people's attention because of the smooth beat. In Homer's Odyssey, the poetic format is dactylic hexameter. It is a beat in which each line has 6 feet, or dactyls, each of which is composed up of one long syllable and 2 short syllables. It is a very flexible poetic format and can be told and read at different speeds for dramatic effect. My epic is not in the form of a poem, but rather a story. I guess you'd kind of call that the poetic format is a story format. There isn't a beat to catch people, but instead of the tone of which it is told or read. Starts out intense and then reverts to actual story. The middles may seem a bit slow, but by that point, people are already hooked by the introduction and are still reading. Human nature. The human nature aspect of an epic is the flaw of the main character. It is the piece of human nature that the epic hero cannot shake, no matter how much they change. Usually, after the journey, they have knowledge of this flaw and can get it under control, but never can get rid of it. In Homer's Odyssey, Odysseus' main flaw is hubris, excessive pride. This gets in his way multiple times along his journey home. He has to stop and defeat every monster on the way, save everyone, and learn all that he can. He constantly gets sidetracked and goes off the course to defeat the Cyclopes, learn from the sirens, etc. Over the course of his journey, he learns how to control it, though, and eventually overcomes it when he defeats the suitors by accepting help from his son. In my epic, the human nature of Cameron is an interesting one. I'm pretty sure his flaw is extreme loyalty to the point of where he doesn't trust anyone who isn't his friend, but I'm not quite sure yet. I might change that. Over the course of his journey, however, he learns that opening up to others who aren't his friends can be beneficial. Universal theme. The universal theme is the most important part of an epic. It is the lesson taught to us by the character's change or through their motive. The theme differs from epic to epic, but is always applicable. The universal theme in Homer's Odyssey is loyalty. Odysseus stayed loyal to his wife over the 10 years he was gone, and vice versa as well. His whole motive in the final battle is to get his wife back. His extreme loyalty teaches us what we should really be like with our spouses and friends. The universal theme of my epic is to be open to others. This is actually what I have trouble doing sometimes. Through Cameron's change, him and the reader learn that sometimes you have to be open to others' suggestions, help, and companionship. Don't distance yourself from people, but instead try to be open to friendship with everyone who passes by. A few notes from me. I noticed it didn't exactly follow either complete rubric, but I hope it still did it good enough in the information department and showed proficiency in what you needed me to show proficiency in. And I know this was kind of boring to watch if you did watch my screen as I read. I really had nowhere to insert pictures after probably going a bit too in-depth for some of the slides text, but I would have inserted some if I could have. Thank you for listening and watching as well if you did. I hope that you enjoyed it, and that if I do this again, you will